Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bowles Central. We got a very special game review for you today. Special because it's so hotly anticipated. It's on everybody's minds these days. Cyberpunk 2077. It's been pushed back and delayed, and there's been all sorts of controversy about the quality of the game that has been delivered this week. We will get to that. But, it comes from developer CD Projekt Red. And if you know anything about the gaming scene, the scene, man, whatever. If you know anything about the gaming scene, you know that their reputation is sterling, man. Like, it's gold. They created the Witcher series, the gaming series. And Witcher 3 is widely considered one of the greatest games of the last generation, which I totally, wholeheartedly endorse. One of my favorite games, that I've played in my adult life, I suppose I could say. So, is Cyberpunk as good as Witcher 3? That's kind of what everyone wants to know, especially since it's a new genre. It's a first-person shooter. It's an RPG, it's a light RPG, but really it's the setting, the milieu, if you will, in storytelling terms. The setting of this post-apocalyptic cyberpunk future, it's gritty, it's technological, it's heavy industrial rock music and synth music and an unhealthy obsession with sex and robotics, and it's insane. Like the world is just so beautifully realized. I'm playing this on an Xbox Series X. I had the fortune to play it because thank God I didn't play it on a PS4 or something, because it's a huge mess. It's a huge mess, the delivery of this game. That CD Projekt Red has made such an intense graphical game that even if you got a super high-end PC, you can't even run it at 60 frames a second on full 4K, which is insane. It's like they're making games now that we can't even play yet properly, no matter how much money you spend on hardware. On an Xbox Series X, really all that I'm playing is the souped-up Xbox One version. It runs a lot smoother. There's a lot more detail. I can have a performance mode that gives me 60 frames a second, or a quality mode that gives me higher resolution. Bump mapping. Look at this. Look at this. This is interesting. You actually can pick the full naked body of your character. I don't know why this is in here, but I find it fascinating that gaming is not afraid to explore this stuff, because you can mix and match, my friends. You can mix and match. I just thought I'd share that because I do find it fascinating. We live in a changed world, man. Because that would not have been something you would have found in gaming all that long ago. But anyways, back to the main points here. If you're playing on PS4, you're getting a dump of a mess. If you're playing on Xbox One, you're getting a dump of a mess. And I mean, I've seen footage. It's almost unplayable. And it basically doesn't exist on PS5 and Series X. All we're playing is the souped-up version. So really, it sounds like CD Projekt Red should have pushed this game even further, which would have been heartbreaking and probably would have screwed with their finances and their fiscal year like crazy. So it's understandable that they didn't. But if you throw all that aside, and you have to acknowledge something, that CD Projekt Red is great, actually exceptional, at listening to community gripes, fixing problems, implementing changes, making very, very, very good quality of life decisions later down the road. But as this game stands this week, depending on what platform you're playing it on, you're getting a very, very different experience. But the experience at its core is pretty great. Here comes Keanu, by the way. Good old Keanu. People have been complaining about his performance. It's not that bad. It's just a little bit Keanu-ized. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. We love Keanu. So, one of the interesting things that CD Projekt Red has done here has been to really incentivize side play, side missions, exploration, doing jobs, getting new vehicles for yourself, finding exotic weapons. The combat system is actually very, very deceptively simple, but once you get into all the dodging, you get into all the mixing between, like, melee weapons and guns. It's pretty good, and I would expect nothing less because The Witcher 3 had pretty amazing combat as well. And the story is fascinating. Really, it's a very adult story. Again, there is like a fascination with sex and the seedy underbelly of the world and this beautiful night city where everything is so neon and so synth and so robotic. I love it. I love the world, and I love the characters, and I love the fact that all this side play also encourages a lot of dynamic gaming, because the decisions you make have impact. And the decisions you make at the outset of the game, choosing choosing basically the faction that you're going to come from. I went with a street kid, and that changed my entire playthrough, and it gave me a playthrough that not everybody else is going to have. There's a lot to see, there's a lot to explore, and there's not just a story that is straightforward. My playthrough is going to be different from your playthrough. I think this is a great game. I think it will be even greater, say, 6 months, a year down the line. But I think it's a great game now. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, knowing that it is flawed. And depending on what version you get, it's either going to be the greatest thing or kind of a bummer. But what I played, easily 9 out of 10. Worth the wait. Maybe should have waited longer. I'm not sure. Alrighty, hey everybody, do me a favor. My enthusiasm. This is my latest novel, Love, Madness, Demon. This is a kind of like a spiritual romance, dark and twisted, horrific tale of woe and longing and hell versus heaven, and geez, guys, what do you want from me, man? I mean, I'm a lowly novelist trying to make a book.